Hi, I'm Christine with Kimbap TV, and this week you are in my kitchen. Some of my Kimbap TV supporters have asked if I can do some more Korean related content, especially when it comes to food. So I wanted to cook some comfort food that can maybe bring back some energy. I'm not feeling too well. I think I have 몸살. In Korean, that means literally body aches. And the closest translation I can think of in English is like exhaustion. My husband swears it's a cold, but I say no. Koreans have this thing called 몸살 that only lasts 24 to 48 hours and goes away if you take care of yourself. So I went to the Korean market. This is an example of what I eat when I get sick. Soybeans, which is called 콩나물 in Korean, and I make a clear broth soup with dashida, soup base, and sprinkle in a lot of chili powder, chili flakes. This is 꿀생강 유자차. That means it has honey, ginger, citrus fruits, and you can drink it hot or cold. Just mix it with some water. This is jeonbokjuk, abalone rice porridge. I think it also has some mushroom in there as well. These are my snacks for when I'm cooking and waiting, because what I'm about to cook is gonna take a little while. This is kimbap. It has bulgogi in it, the marinated beef. And this is Korean style sausage, better known as sundae, which is literally described as blood sausage. Doesn't sound very appetizing, but it's actually very delicious. So the main dish that I'm cooking today is 꼬리곰탕. It's an oxtail soup. And I grew up eating this. Whenever I'm lacking energy, my mom would make it and it would be so good. It just takes so long to make, and I wasn't sure exactly how, so I called my mom and got some notes. These are oxtail pieces. What I'm told to do is put them in water and let them soak for about a half hour so that the blood kind of drains. And while you're doing this, you're supposed to boil water in a big pot. We're ready to put in some of the beef. See, in half an hour, this is how it looks. It's very bloody. And that you don't want in the soup. So I'm just taking each oxtail, just one by one, just kind of dabbing it with paper towel. I don't think my mom does this, but I just decided to add that extra step. And then put it into the water. The big ones are kind of tough for me to just do with my chopsticks, so I'm gonna cheat a little bit. It's just me and my husband eating it anyways. Honey, if you're watching this later, surprise! I added some extra flavor, the salt on my fingers. I'm not a very good cook at all, but out of desperation, especially when I was living away from LA, I started calling my aunts and my mom for advice on cooking Korean food because I just got so homesick. And now that I'm married, I'm trying to do my part to feed my husband from time to time. He has a big exam next week, so especially important that he doesn't get what I have. Although I tell him that 몸살 is not contagious, I want to give him some extra energy so that he can study hard. According to my mom's instructions, you're supposed to let this boil and then reduce the heat once it starts boiling. Total of an hour or two, so I have a lot of time to wait. It's been about an hour and a half, and I think it's time to start taking some of the meat out. So this is how the soup looks after it boils for a while. It turns a little bit white. Oh, look at that meat, doesn't it look so good? See the steam coming out and just the meat looks so tender. This camera too, look. So then at that point, you just move it over. This is how my mom does it. She takes the oxtail pieces out and separates the meat. You're gonna combine those pieces of meat with other things like green onions. Just put it on top of the oxtail meat. I add some soy sauce, give it some extra flavor. I store this in a separate container, so whenever I'm ready to eat my soup, I simply heat up the broth, go get the container, and sprinkle this all over the soup. I have both white rice and brown rice at home, but with soup, I tend to prefer white rice. I guess it's just the taste that I remember from my childhood. Now the best way to do this is to put it in the refrigerator overnight, because then all the fat will rise up to the top. In the morning, you would go and scoop up that fat, throw it away. The very last step is to add some salt and maybe some pepper, because the broth really doesn't have any flavor like that. And then eat the soup that remains. So that's godigomtang. I hope you get a chance to make this for yourself and let me know how it goes. And also, I'm happy to make other Korean dishes too. Just let me know if you have any questions or preferences on what you want to see next. In Torrance, I'm Christine Lee, Kimbap TV. See you again soon.